Using a stern anchor is one technique that we use to keep ourselves safe while at anchor when there isn't much room for swing or in high current situations. As we move south through South Carolina and into Georgia, the tidal ranges are increasing, so extra care must be taken to be aware of any shallow areas as well as how the increased current is going to affect us and the boat. To combat the latter, this week we're going to put out a stern anchor as well, and we're going to show you how we do it. Today, as we move out of Charleston towards Beaufort, we find ourselves anchoring in a narrow little creek to hide from weather for a couple of days. Like we said in the last episode, the weather in Charleston hasn't really been all that great, and the forecast is not really showing much for improvement in the next several days. While the USS Yorkton Anchorage is pretty cool, it doesn't really offer a lot of protection. As you can see, it's pretty rainy and dreary, so let's get out of here. We did see this beautiful boat on the way out of Charleston.
Driving.
What are you driving?
The boat.
Yeah?
Yeah. You're making me stay.
Are you enjoying yourself?
I don't know. Not hating it.
Not hating it, except that first 10 seconds?
Yeah, that was bad. But that was my fault. I was overcorrecting too much and too fast at first.
Yeah, the first 10 seconds of Kim being at the helm was a little hairy. She was a little panicked. This boat, I think, like any other boat, there's a bit of delay between the time when you steer the wheel and when the change in your heading actually happens, which means you then need to straighten sooner than what you think. And how much you turn the wheel is basically how quickly the boat will turn. I mean, cars, I guess, do that too. If you turn the wheel just a tiny little bit in a huge parking lot, you're going to do a great big circle. If you turn it more, you're going to do a much smaller circle. So it takes a bit of getting used to, but Kim's doing a fantastic job now. And I'm going to go have a nap. So you have yourself a good one. We'll catch you tomorrow. I guess we're in river cruise country now. Cool.
Alright, we are, hopefully you can hear me over the wind. We are about to anchor up, I think it's called Sailboat Creek, and we're going to wait out a storm tonight and all day tomorrow, and some pretty windy windness tomorrow as well. So yeah, we're a few minutes away from the anchorage. Looks like it's empty right now. Cancel that. We just changed our minds. This creek doesn't have as much protection as we thought it was going to, as it sounded like it had by Active Captain on Aqua maps. So we're gonna go up the ICW further on the Dawho section, and there's an anchorage there that sounds all right. So we're gonna go to that one instead. We have found our anchorage for tonight and tomorrow night. We made our way up a little creek. It's not very wide, but I think we're gonna throw out a stern anchor just to hold us in place when the current swings. The back end will swing around, so we just kind of want to prevent that. We're gonna get the dinghy down and he'll go and place it somewhere. We don't want to hit the bank of this very narrow creek, which you can see right behind me. That's one side and we're about in the middle, so there ain't any more on the other side. There's actually maybe a little bit less on the other side. So anyway, yeah, that's what we're gonna do.
Let's explain how we stern anchored, or double anchored, for those of you that don't know. For those of you that do know, is this right? The first step was to check the area for depths and any obstructions where we intend to anchor. Then, the first part is accomplished like any other anchoring. We turn the bow into the current in this case because it's stronger than the wind, and we let go the anchor. Then, we pay out enough scope for the depth. Then it's time to set the anchor. We prefer to power set our anchor whenever we can by reversing the main engine and backing down until the anchor is firmly dug into the bottom. Then I put out extra scope. Now, you don't have to use a dinghy to deploy the stern anchor, but in this case, the tide was about to swap and I didn't want to get caught with way too much scope out and hit one of the banks. Once the stern anchor was deployed and had a few minutes to settle, then we used the windlass to pull the extra scope back in, which simultaneously dug the stern anchor into the bottom and suspended the boat between the two anchors. That way, the boat can't swing when the current swaps. Then, we finish the job by putting the bridle on the main anchor chain, just like we always do. The current here was absolutely ripping. I'm really glad we did this, and that we got it done before the current swapped on us. In the morning, to leave, we did everything in reverse order, except the dinghy part. We pulled the anchor back up directly to the mothership. You can see me dropping back to the stern anchor here.
So we are underway after taking a rest day yesterday.
A weather day, not a rest day. I didn't need a rest, it was weather.
It wasn't even that much.
Nearly as bad as it was supposed to be.
No, it was not. So yeah, we're back on the ICW. We're in the Dawho.
No, we're in Watts Cut right now. So this is one of the, as far as the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers overlay in Aqua maps, this is one of the scariest sections for depth on our entire trip down the East Coast. And we're bussing along at 6.4 knots because the depths look good.
Yeah, we timed the tides.
And we went with what the waterway guide said, which was to wait for low tide, 2 hours past low tide at the Brickyard Point tide station, which is down by Beaufort where we're going today. Which made it about 8 a.m., which is right now. So we're like about 5-10 minutes early, but we're still showing good depths.
And on a rising.
And on a rising tide, and we're cruising down Bob's track.
Yep. It's the only way to do it.
I think so. We should probably touch on what all of that means, and how we've been planning and navigating the ICW. Luckily, a few friends of ours told us about the Aquamap app. I really like it. Now, I still use Navionics and my NOAA charts in my chart plotter for navigating the ICW, but I wildly prefer Aquamaps for a couple of reasons. First and foremost is the Army Corps of Engineers Depth Overlay. If you purchase the Pro version of the app, which really wasn't that expensive, you can overlay this data on top of your chart. My understanding is that this data comes directly from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers depth scans that they do to determine where needs to be dredged next. It hasn't always been perfect, but it has saved us from running aground or trying to tackle shallow sections at the wrong time of tide several times. And if nothing else, it's very helpful to know which sections to be extra cautious in. Then we pair that with the Bob's Track overlay. Now I know that I can get Bob's Tracks on Navionics or on my chart plotter, but the pairing of the Army Corps Engineers overlay and Bob's Track together really helps this captain know where to go and where not to go. Alright, so what the heck just happened, kiddo?
Some guys were picking up crab pots, and we asked if they had any for sale, and got probably a dozen crabs.
Yeah, like 10 or a dozen crabs they gave us, man. They never charged us anything, so thank you very much, crab man. You guys are awesome. So we're gonna have blue crabs once we figure out how to cook them. We're gonna have blue crabs for lunch and or dinner. Yummy! Alright, right, so we are basically in Beaufort, South Carolina. That is the Ladies Island Bridge behind me there. And we are going to go almost right down to that bridge and then hook a left. And somewhere over by that water tower over there somewhere is about where we're going to end up anchoring. So far I like it. It looks pretty. And we're going to find a home for at least the one night. And then we'll go from there. Well, we found our home for the next unknown amount of time.
I know, we're already in love with it.
The next undetermined. I don't want to be that guy, especially because we never actually went to Beaufort. We went to Morehead City many times. We never actually went to Beaufort.
No.
But so far, I like Beaufort much better than I like Beaufort.
It's pretty.
Please don't hate on us if you're from Beaufort. At least we're getting the pronunciations right.
Or at least what we've been told.
At least what we
by
think.
people.
We've read, yeah.
Yeah.
So far, I quite like Beaufort. We just came in from the river over that way, and it was kind of it wasn't hairy, but you have to get right next to the causeway that you may or may not be able to see. Like, just where's my hand? Where is it? I can't tell. Right about there somewhere. That causeway. We had to get right next to it to get up. This is called Factory Creek.
Yeah.
I don't quite see why, because all I see is multi-million-dollar homes.
Yeah.
I don't see any factories at all, but I'm sure at some point there was a factory.
Yeah. Anyway, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
We got Marsh Island next to us on one side, and then a free dinghy dock behind us.
Yeah, free dinghy dock, city dock behind us. There's a supposedly quite a friendly marina, as long as you call ahead. Here beside us, we got the view of the swing bridge next to, what is the thing anyway? What time is it?
It's probably 2.
Yeah, so we got about another half hour until that swing bridge opens again, but we'll try and get a hunk of footage when that happens. But yeah, so far Beaufort looks beautiful. There's supposed to be a Publix for resupply and a hardware store that carries a decent amount of marine stock. Somewhere nearby there's a few little gadgets and doodads here and there always. That's part of boat life.
Mm-hmm.
And
I feel like we're in a no wake zone too.
yeah,
We're not like in busy downtown Beaufort.
Exactly, yeah. We had talked about going through this bridge that's kind of behind us and then around the corner, and there's a bunch of anchorages over there, all of which looked like they were far more prone to fishing boats and whatever, speed cruisers and all kinds of things rocking and rolling us, so we figured we'd come over here.
But for now,
You'll see.
enjoy our beverages and the view
And the crabs.
and the crabs. We have some pet crabs for a few more hours, and then they will be dinner. Is it time? Is it time?
So first, we rinse the crabs. And try not to lose them overboard.
Okay, monkey. I don't know how.
Okay.
You can do it. Do it.
There's a swimmer there and a swimmer there. Our swimmer's over here. Just do it. The water's boiling. We gotta get it done here.
Ah, moved.
He's trying to move. Get him out of that swimmer.
Go, go, go.
Get him out of the swimmer for us.
Oh, not that.
Couldn't do that one.
That's the angry one that I had by the claw a minute ago.
Yeah,
What about this one? Grab this guy.
Make sure he's gentle first.
Grab him. Quit goofing around. There we go. Twitch.
Oh, but they're so hot already.
Then that's
Set on steam mode.
how that's done.
Ta-da! Crabs in the pot, baby. Yummer! the tidal range here in Beaufort is 3 to 4 feet. We must be getting closer to the famous 11-foot tides of Georgia. They went from this to this to this. But there is a bunch of wildlife that came out at low tide. Aria and I started with some bagels and lox to power us up for today's provisioning mission / land adventure. Kim does not like smoked salmon, so hers was boring. How you feeling, Mama?
Better.
You got it now. Same as driving the regular boat. Moments of panic at the beginning, and then she turns out to be a natural. All right. Believe it or not,
I got us to shore.
What the fuck?
anyway, we're just walking our way down to another marine store, we think. Groceries, booze mart, and then we're gonna stop back in at the marina we were already at, but nobody was there, and see if we can find someone that will authorize us to fill our water tanks. We were just talking about how this might be the prettiest parking lot to a strip mall we've ever seen. It's even got a gator pond.
Oh, yeah.
One thing that has made these provision runs on foot much easier is these reusable grocery bags we got back home. So much easier to carry all this stuff. Of course, we needed all the help we could get after this stop, if you know what I'm saying. Aria needed her own little pick-me-up, or cool-me-down, or whatever. She must have got the good swamp water because she got that crazy eye again. When we got back and unloaded all the groceries, Aria and I decided to tackle cleaning some of the nasties off the hull we've been accumulating. This method turned out to be pretty inefficient at cleaning about the first 6 inches under the waterline. I guess we're gonna have to get somewhere where I can get in the water. Or maybe I'll have to hire a diver. But I'm so cheap, I really hate paying for something that I can do at the mere cost of buckets of sweat. What's working on there?
Dinner. Have some leftover taco meat from the other night, so we're gonna have quesadillas.
Oh, quesadillas!
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us this week. We sincerely hope you enjoyed this week's episode. And an extra big thanks to the folks that insisted on sending us something to help us with our journey. That is something that's come up a few times, and we are working on avenues to try and make that more possible or easier. If that's something that interests you, maybe let us know in the comments below. It feels totally weird to us still, but we're so unbelievably grateful. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week. Bye.